Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam, and I finally watched Before Sunrise. This was directed and co-written by Richard Linklater, who would later go on to direct movies like School of Rock and Boyhood, and before that had directed Slacker and Dazed and Confused, and it starred Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, and was released in 1995. It tells the story of a man named Jesse and a woman named Celine, played by Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, respectively. They meet on a train. Jesse is on his way to Vienna to catch a plane back to the United States. However, in their brief conversation on the train, they hit it off quite well, and so as he is disembarking, he goes back to Celine and asks her, "Hey, Celine, I don't have to make my plane for about another 10-ish hours or so. You want to spend the day together?" And the movie is pretty much that. Just these two people walking around Vienna, talking and falling in love with each other. Doing research for this video has quite frankly been some of the most interesting that I've done in quite some time. This was the brainchild of co-writer and director Richard Linklater. He had just gotten done doing Dazed and Confused, and that whole movie, I'm sure you all know what that movie is. But this movie Before Sunrise was actually inspired by a similar interaction that he had with an actual woman named Amy, and I had so much trouble pronouncing this last name to myself, so I'll just put it in the lower third here. But in 1989, they met in a toy shop in Philadelphia, and they spent the day together. The entire time, it affected Linklater so much that he decided to make a movie about it. Fictionalized, of course, and changing certain names around, but heavily influenced by that day. He made the movie thinking, oh, Amy's going to walk into a movie theater and realize, oh yeah, that guy Richard, he made a movie about me. Unfortunately, though, Amy never got to see it, as in 1994, actually just a couple of weeks before Sunrise was about to start shooting, she tragically passed away in a car accident. And yeah, that's very, very sad. The movie's actually dedicated to Amy, and in Before Sunset, which I will be covering next week, you can definitely see these little moments there where the Amy influence is more present, but I'll cross that bridge when I get there. One of my cinematic blind spots is romance movies. Not for any particular reason, I just don't go out of my way to see them. But I'm on the channel, I'm doing these Sunday videos because I know for October, November, and December I will be crazy busy with Scary Mania and Chris Mania, so I just wanted to check off some bucket list items before I got there, and the Before trilogy was on that list. I've heard a lot of hype for the Before trilogy, just from the acting, from the concept, and so I went into Before Sunrise with very high expectations. And those expectations were met, because this movie was very good. Which is strange to say, because, really, this movie, in terms of events, not very much happens. You literally meet Jesse and Celine within 5 minutes, and you're just, I don't want to say you're stuck with these two, but you're pretty much stuck with these two for the remaining hour and 45. If it weren't for the great acting skills of Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy, then this movie would have been a train wreck. But thankfully, those two are very good at what they do, and they pretty much make this movie work. While in my research I found that Julie Delpy was pretty much a lock from the beginning, Ethan Hawke almost was not the beau in the movie. Linklater considered him, but thought that he looked way too young for the part. But after seeing him in an off-Broadway play, Linklater was like, okay, this is my guy. And like I said, this pairing just really works. They have such a great dynamic with each other, just starting off as pretty much strangers, but over the course of several hours, just falling completely in love with each other. And not the kind of love where they're just like being all sappy about it. They kind of temper their expectations, knowing that they may never see each other again. So it's up to them to make the best of that. For a movie about two people just walking around a random European city, there's actually a lot of deep stuff going on here about fulfillment, self-discovery, and just the weight of these two knowing that they'll probably just have this one night, so just making the best of what they've got. It's actually handled very well. There's a scene where the two actually enter a cemetery, and just knowing of the mortality of their lives, they just decide to adopt this attitude of, we're just going to make the best of what we have right now. I like that. I like the spirit of that. This is a movie I would have loved to have seen in the theater because, with the power of hindsight and due to the ambiguous ending, meaning, did these people actually keep the date at the end of the movie where they were like, all right, we're going to meet in this spot 6 months from now? Now, with the benefit of hindsight, we know, no, that didn't happen. But in the theater, I would have been just secretly pulling for them to meet up at that date and time 6 months from now. Linklater does a really good job of keeping certain parts ambiguous, leaving it up to us to decide. Most importantly, A, if they were going to make that date in 6 months, and B, whether or not they actually had sex during their time together. It's strongly implied that they did, especially in Before Sunset, but it's never fully explained. For a romance movie, this really doesn't have all that much of a sex scene. I don't think it has a sex scene at all. It's just these two walking around the city together, talking about their lives. That could be the most boring movie in history, but in the grand scheme of things, it's really not, due to just the whip-smart dialogue and just the chemistry between these two. Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy really carry this, like I mentioned. And one more note, they actually rewrote a lot of the dialogue for the movie themselves. They don't get a screenwriting credit, but I believe it was Julie Delpy who said in an interview that the dialogue was not really that romantic, so Ethan and I just came up with stuff on the fly. So yeah, that's pretty cool. At the end of the day, I'm going to give this an amazing grade. I'm not going to lie, I love this movie a lot more than I thought I would. It's pretty basic, not really all that much dramatic stuff happens. But, like I said, it's a surprisingly deep movie for exactly what it is. And in the sequels, or especially Before Sunset, those themes are capitalized on. But what did you all think of Before Sunrise? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to read what you have to say. And next Sunday I will be continuing my exploration of the Before trilogy by covering the middle chapter, 2004's Before Sunset. But if you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Cam, and I'll see you in the next one.